Hello, students. Today we want to talk a bit about stress management. And we know that a lot of you have been talking to us about being more stressed out in high school than in middle school with all the increased academic and social expectations that people have for you and thinking about planning for your future. So we really wanted to help you get some tools for learning how to manage your stress. The first thing that's important is to understand that stress comes from a feeling that you're not in control. Stress doesn't come from the things that you're in control of, because those you can make decisions about. Stress comes from those things that are put on top of you that you really feel like you have no control over. Even though it's a feeling, it's important to remember that stress is also physical. It has a physical effect on your body. There are symptoms that you can get from stress that might include things like loss of sleep or depression, changes in your eating habits, anxiety, and even irritableness. Now, one piece of bad news is that stress is not going to go away. Removing stress is not an option for most people most of the time. College will be stressful for you. Learning how to effectively manage your stress so that you can be successful is an important skill that you can acquire in high school. Now, the good news is that you can gain control of your own feelings and learn to manage your stress successfully. Some quick steps for doing that. First step, recognize your own stress. Second, prioritize. And third, communicate about your stress with other people around you. The first thing to do is to recognize your own stress. There are certain things called stress triggers. And what you want to be able to do is to identify what those things are. What are the things that you know are going to cause you to be stressed? Maybe it's an upcoming school dance or a performance or a test or even just going in to see a particular teacher or a family situation that you know that's going to come up. If you learn to know that these things are going to cause you to feel stressed out, that they're going to cause you to have that physical response, to be more anxious, to be not able to sleep well, then instead of it being a confusing thing, I don't know why I can't sleep, you're able to name it, you're able to take more control over it. The biggest advantage is that you also recognize these stressors, these triggers, before they become overwhelming, and then you can apply some of your other techniques to try to reduce and manage your stress along with it. Because it's the not knowing and not recognizing and just feeling like things are happening to you that is really going to increase your stress. The next thing to think about are priorities. When you think about all the things you need to do, it's good to be able to recognize the difference between things that are urgent and things that are important. Things that are important have both short and long-term value, and they are things that matter to you, they're your goals. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish between things that are important to other people, but not to you, and between things that are really important to you. The other thing is urgency. Urgency means how soon does it need to be done? This is a little matrix that can help you out to think about these things. Items that are not very important and don't need to be done now, we might call distractions. There are some things that other people think are very important and they want you to do them right now. Those might be interruptions. Take out the garbage right now. Well, that's something that is probably not important to you, but it's something that somebody else wants you to do urgently right now. The things that are going to be most important that you want to do first are your critical activities. They are both important and they're urgent. You need to do it now. Trying to sort out the differences between things that are critical and things that are distractions is one of the real challenges that we have. You want to put those distractions last so they don't get in the way. Now, we do know that there are going to be times when other people will impose priorities on you. Your final exams are not going to go away. They're going to be on those particular days, and you have to be able to get through them. You can't just say, next week I'll do that for you. Recognizing that there are things that are not in your control actually allows you to kind of let go of them. So instead of being upset or anxious about them, if you say, there's nothing I can change about others, I can just change myself, that's going to help reduce your stress. Being able to name it and to move it off your plate is useful. That doesn't mean that everybody else is necessarily going to agree with you or they're going to understand what it is that you want to do. And that's why communication with others is so important. This helps give you control of your situations and it can also help reduce other people's stress as well. One thing I want you to do is to practice saying, right now I can't do this, but I can do it or I will do it later. And give a date or a time to the later. Think about the garbage for a second. I can't take the garbage out right now because I want to finish my math homework before I lose my train of thought. But I can do it 10 minutes from now, which is when I should be done. Okay? Now, when things get to be more important to other people, like, I don't feel like you're spending any time with me, that can be very hard because you don't want to disappoint other people and you don't want to make them mad. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. And instead of having other people feel like you're not listening to them, if you acknowledge what they're saying and you say, I know that's important. I just need to take care of this thing that's urgent right now, and then we're going to have time to do the other things that are important too. Or to recognize maybe that you've been distracted by your own concerns, and actually what's more important to you is spending time with that person, and you communicate that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to find you'll reduce your own stress and it will reduce other people's stress also. So as you think about the stress in your life, what I want you to remember is that you can manage your stress. Learn to recognize what causes you stress. Begin to prioritize and distinguish between what's important and what's urgent. Try to communicate with others. Because if you do those things and you practice it, you can manage your stress.